The night began with laughter, or at least the imitation of it. I set the table myself, roast, mashed potatoes, green beans the way my daughter loved as a child. The smell filled the house like memory. I wanted the evening to feel warm, safe. Family, after all, was supposed to mean that. But then my grandson refused to eat. He pushed his plate away, lip trembling. "I don't want Daddy's food," he said, his voice small, eyes glossy. My son-in-law chuckled too quickly. "He's just being picky," he said, the tone sharp beneath the smile. My daughter's hands froze mid-air, gripping her fork a little too tightly. She didn't speak. That silence told me more than words ever could. After dinner, I found my grandson hiding under the table. His knees were tucked to his chest, little hands clutching his stuffed bear. When he looked up at me, something in his eyes, fear that didn't belong to a 5-year-old, cut through me. He whispered, "Grandpa, he hurts Mommy when you're not here." My heart went still. There are moments when time doesn't just stop, it fractures. I remember every detail, the hum of the refrigerator, the faint ticking of the wall clock, the way his voice trembled. I didn't move. I just nodded and told him softly, "Thank you for telling me." That was the night I stopped being a father and became something else. My daughter married him against my warnings. I saw the arrogance early, the way he corrected her in public, the possessive hand on her back disguised as affection. But she was in love, and I wanted her happiness more than I wanted to be right. For years, I watched her smile grow thinner, her eyes dimmer. I told myself I was imagining it, that every family had rough patches. But the bruises, subtle, well-placed, hidden beneath sleeves, were not imagination. I asked her once, directly. She denied it. Tears filled her eyes, but her lips stayed loyal to his lies. I knew then that she wasn't free to speak, so I waited. After that dinner, I started to plan. He worked late on weekdays. That gave me time. I installed new security cameras outside my home, ones with sound. The next time they visited, I made sure the guest room had one too, hidden behind a vent cover. Weeks passed. They came again. My grandson played in the living room, my daughter sat quiet, and he, her husband, pretended to be charming. When they left, I reviewed the footage, and there it was. When she went upstairs to put the boy to bed, he followed. The camera caught the sound of a slap, muted, quick, and her muffled cry. He told her to keep it together before they went downstairs. My hands shook as I paused the video. Then I saved it, and copied it again. The law is slow, but humiliation, that's immediate. I didn't rush. Revenge isn't about rage, it's about precision. First, I found his weakness, reputation. He fancied himself a respected businessman. His company's board worshipped him. Investors trusted him, and every interview he gave was dripping with self-righteous family values. I created a folder, Family Records. Inside, every video, every bruise photo my daughter had sent me years ago by accident, every whisper my grandson had shared. I compiled dates, times, screenshots of text messages I'd discreetly retrieved from her old phone. Then I reached out to the one person who'd ruin him faster than I ever could, his business partner. Anonymously. The email contained only a single line, "This is who you're working with," and a link. By the next week, the company's board called an emergency meeting. He didn't know I was sitting in my car across the street, watching him storm into the building. An hour later, he came out pale, shaken, a man stripped of control for the first time. I knew what they'd seen, the footage of him shouting, hitting, threatening. The board didn't care about morality, but they cared about image. He was suspended indefinitely. But that wasn't enough. I had one more move left. That weekend, my daughter came to me alone. Her hands trembled when she told me he'd changed, that he was apologizing, that he wanted another chance. The fear behind her words was a leash. I told her gently, "Invite him over. Sunday dinner, all of us, together." When he arrived, he smiled like nothing had happened, arrogant, polished. He brought flowers, for her, a bottle of wine, for me. I poured it, toasted him. Then I played the video. Right there on the living room television. The sound filled the room, the slap, the cry, his voice commanding silence. My grandson froze beside his mother. She covered her mouth. He lunged for the remote, but I stepped between them. My voice was low, deliberate. "If you touch her again, I'll make sure the police, your company, and your entire social circle see everything you are." He tried to speak, but words failed him. My daughter's tears turned to anger, real anger this time. She looked at me, then at him, and finally said, "Get out." He left. Not in rage, in ruin. Months have passed since then. My daughter filed for divorce, got full custody, started therapy. She smiles now, really smiles. My grandson laughs freely, no longer flinches at sudden sounds. As for him, his business collapsed. His partner took over, citing ethical misconduct. His friends vanished. His face occasionally appears online, pale and desperate, denying everything. I don't respond. Sometimes I sit at that same dinner table, remembering the night it all began, the tiny voice under the table, the trembling hands, the truth whispered through tears. I replay it, not out of guilt, but clarity. Because revenge isn't about hatred, it's about restoration. They say justice is blind, but a father sees everything. And when he decides to act, there's no escaping his sight.